So in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 reasons you shouldn't go full-time.
5 big reasons why you should not go live in an RV full-time. Live in an RV, that's crazy. That's reason number 1. Why would you want to live in an RV? That's number 1. And number 1, you have to live in an RV.
You have to worry about super simple things for a house. Like you have to worry about, you're constantly worrying about your poop tank, water.
Yeah, there's just simple things become more complicated. And so, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like
when you live in a house, I mean, basically you always have water, you always have heat, you don't have to fill up your propane tank. I mean, some people do. But you don't have to take super short showers.
Yeah, if you're somewhere where there's no hookups, you're taking 30-second showers, and so because you're limited on water. So
we don't drink the water from our RV either, so that's kind of another thing. You're always looking for drinking water, or if you don't have a filter, or you're always buying water. Like sometimes we'd wake up in the morning and be out of water, and we're like, dang, and we were so far away from a store. So I mean, just worrying about some of those little things all the time that you never think about if you're not living in an RV.
Yeah, when we stopped at a house for a few weeks, like in a way it was like very freeing, because I didn't have to worry about so many things. I'm like, I could flush the toilet as much as I want. There's just so much that you don't have to worry about.
Like the simple things, like stuff that you don't think about. Yeah. So that was definitely one.
That's one.
Another one that we have is if you don't have a way to work mobily, this really is not, it's going to get expensive fast.
Yeah. So being able to work on the road is super important, and reliable internet, I mean, just can be difficult sometimes. Don't count on campground Wi-Fi for your work. It's just not going to be there, and they may not have it at all.
Unless you are staying in specific states where you know that it's okay. But if you're wanting to just like go travel the U.S., internet can be a problem.
Internet can be a problem. I mean, there's some things that we've done to improve that and make it a little bit more reliable. But
we can do another video about that too.
But that's kind of being able to work from the road mobily. Has to be a must if you're going to do it full time.
Yep.
And which makes it more difficult because you're constantly moving.
Well, we've had friends that we know who have traveled full time that were working mobily, but they just weren't working because you want to play all the time. So you actually have to get in a good rhythm and routine too if you work mobily. You have to know because it can be challenging to want to work.
Yeah. Well, and then you got to remember you're working in an RV, so the space is a lot smaller, and so if you have kids, it's going to be a lot louder. And then if you need long work days and you're at a place where there's nothing to do for your kids, like let's say it's raining and your kids are inside and you're trying to work, that could be a little more difficult. Or if there's just nothing to do at the campground and it's a work day for you, that's something that could be a little more difficult to do.
Yeah. So that's number 2. Number 3. Let's see. One thing that has been hard for us is sometimes you miss having consistent relationships, because when you live in like a community, a neighborhood where you have the same neighbors, you go to the same church, you do the same thing, you have your family close by a lot of times like we did. It's kind of hard at first to adjust to not having those consistent relationships. You can kind of feel alone.
Yeah, I think there could be times where you feel like if you're a very social person, there are ways to find great groups and stuff, but if you're just traveling, I mean, you're not going to have a lot of social interactions just with your group, just with your family, right? You might be traveling around and there's just sometimes, I don't know, it's just different. I don't feel
I think I felt like our family would join us more. Like they would, our families are going to come they're going to meet us up here or there, and we're going to see them more often. But the truth is, most people have a scheduled workload and they have very little time off, and it's not as easy for them to get away as you would hope or think. And so, you really might miss family and friends.
And then you kind of get, when you're full time, you get used to being able to move around so much, and then like when you're like, it's like a big deal for them to get away for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's just, and for you, yeah, it's just.
Well, I mean, and sometimes you're 40 hours away from where they are.
There's times where you can be 40 hours away.
Yeah, so it's really hard for them to want to meet up. But I mean, and definitely we've met friends on the road, which is so fun. But like we're saying, that consistency of having the same people around you all the time.
Yeah, you could finally meet the perfect family who's just your kids love, and you hang out with them, and then you're like, you're leaving on Friday?
Yeah.
You're like, ugh.
And they're heading
in a totally different direction. So it's just, it's kind of sad, you know?
Yeah.
But
and that is the hard thing too, because you meet good friends on the road so you're constantly saying goodbye to good friends as well. So
yeah.
Okay, so number 4, homeschool. This is no joke. This was our first month of full-timing. Like, it was rough, I have to say. I think that the roughest part was homeschool because we had never homeschooled before. So definitely look into that beforehand. I would definitely say that it can be amazing too. Like I feel like we got in our group now with homeschool, but that's definitely something to consider if you are you do have to homeschool your children, and
if you're working, you have to fit that in between. And again, you could be in the same very enclosed space, and so if you trying to get your kids to do homeschool kind of gets you in a bad mood,
not the best work environment.
You may not be doing your work well. So homeschool.
Yeah, you definitely have to get in a routine, and that with homeschool, and you have to make it work for your family for sure. Okay. This is something that was big for us too. Like when we first started out, we thought it was going to be like you picture yourself being in these beautiful places everywhere with your RV out in the middle of nowhere with all these trees and lakes and beauty all around you. And then you go to an RV park. And it's a parking lot sometimes.
Yeah. So our first year of doing it, we spent most of the time in RV parks. And we still spend a lot of time in them, so you kind of just get used to it. But it's your RV is next to another RV who's next to another RV, and the sound insulation is not very good. And my kids are loud, so I feel bad sometimes. And sometimes I'm trying to get them to be quiet, you know. But so RV parks really are not always the greatest. Sometimes you get lucky and you find one and you're like, oh, this is sweet, let's stay here. But most of them, you're staying there so you can go see something cool, and so you're staying at an RV park.
Yeah, and that's kind of you can find boondocking spots, which is dry camping, a lot of places and things. And if you're all set up for that, you can do that. But there's also some challenges that come with boondocking. You can't run all the water you want if you have a bunch of kids and you're running a bunch of water. Or, there's just a lot of things that go into boondocking as well. So definitely sometimes you want full hookups, and a lot of times those are in parking lots, especially if you're in certain areas and locations. So
straight off to everything. Yeah. So those are our 5 reasons why you should not RV.
We have one bonus
full-time.
one as well.
Bonus.
Bonus.
Drop the bonus.
It can be expensive. It can be more expensive than you're paying for your house, for your mortgage.
Definitely.
Campgrounds can cost $40 to $50 a night. So if you're not set up with
times
the right...
that by 30.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're more than that.
Some places we even paid more than that. Our first couple of months RVing, we spent more money than we were spending on our mortgage. So...
But we had fun. But it's true. It can be very expensive, especially if you're in what we call vacation mode. So it's especially when you first leave, or if you're Christy, it's all the time.
You like to move a lot, is what he means.
And so it's like, you're on the move, you're constantly hitting places, and you're constantly, oh man, there's something so over here, we got to hit this, we got to hit that. And to pay for your family to go do it, it's $200 here, $200 there. It's just, there's so much to do all the time that you could easily, your entertainment budget is going to just be blown big time. Yes. So that's definitely, if you struggle with that, it can be expensive.
Yes. But we didn't really want to discourage anyone from doing this, because we really do think it's all about how you think about things. And so it's important to realize the way that you are thinking about things, because I think it's easy to focus on, oh my gosh, it's so annoying to have to take short showers, or it's so annoying to have to dump the poop tank, or whatever those things are. But it's the same things at home. Like, you can get annoyed by...
I could think of 5 things easily about a house that I don't enjoy, right?
Yeah, so you'll definitely have to check out our video of the 10 reasons that you should do it.
10, way more than 5.
Hey guys.
You're so funny.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I love when Dylan does that. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey guys. Hey guys. Okay, so we